Hello and welcome to another episode of Feeding Fatty. I'm Roy.
I'm Terry.
Terry, I'm going to let you introduce our guest today.
Yes, we are so excited to have Dr. Carol Shwery. She is a dedicated healthcare professional and has been doing that for 40 years. She's deeply committed to helping people who struggle with feeling sick, tired, and in pain find the root causes of their health challenges and to find the root causes of their health challenges. She helps them reset their body and health so they can wake up feeling vibrant, full of energy, and ready for each day, no matter what age. Through targeted lab testing, Dr. Shwery can assess how each system is working and design an individualized program to rebalance your body. Creating an individualized diet plan, a scientifically based supplement program, stress reduction, and exercise, a person's health can improve dramatically, not only physically, but emotionally. With an ongoing wellness plan, many health problems can be avoided, such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, female adrenal, thyroid, and insulin hormone imbalances. Her clients are finding a vitality that has given them a new lease on life. Her personal goal is to transform our broken healthcare system as well as our broken health and empower people to achieve optimal health so they can experience the joy and freedom of a life without limits. Dr. Carol, thank you so much for joining us. We're just thrilled to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Just in the nick of time too. I was not feeling too hot this morning when I got up. So yeah, it is very timely subject.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So tell us more about your history, how you got started, what you started in the healthcare profession 40 years ago.
Yes, I was a spring chicken back then.
You still are.
Yeah.
Well, the numbers say differently, but thank
Well, you look great.
Well, thank you. Well, I got interested in health at a very early age, and I was directed by some of my mentors to go to school to actually get a degree. And so I did that, and I expanded I went to a chiropractic school back then, and since then I've in the last 40 years I've gotten many different degrees, but at that time, and for the first 20 years of my practice, I was just going gangbusters. Everything was fantastic, and then about when I was 49 years old, my health started to all of a sudden deteriorate. Before I was, everything was great, I could do anything and everything and did. I tended to pride myself on being a great multitasker, and stress was my friend. Okay, because it really motivated me.
Yes.
But then at that 49th year, everything started to dismantle. And I spent about 5 years trying to figure out what was wrong with me as my health just started to go down, 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 down. And I went from doctor to doctor, whether it be conventional, alternative, nothing was making sense. And people were telling me things that I knew were not true. They were diagnosing me, and I said, "You're not hearing me." And so ultimately, it's a long 5-year long story. I found out I had a brain tumor.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And a big bad one. And I ended up, and it was killing me, and I was slowly deteriorating in many different directions. So I ended up in a 14-hour surgery, came out, and was in a coma, and then came out paralyzed.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
And why I tell this story, it's a big story, but we all have our stories, don't we?
Mhm.
We all have stories. And ultimately, I call myself a warrior because I said, I'm not letting this stop me. And I spent a long time, well, actually a short time in real terms, 4 months, clawing my way back to being able to go back to practice. I was in a wheelchair, but I learned everything over again. I still have partial paralysis, in one leg, but it's, I'm here and I'm back to being the ever anybody. And the reason why I tell you this is because we do have our stories, but also I now have a sense of understanding and compassion for people and what their needs are. Whereas before I could give information, but I didn't have the personal experience.
So you having that that brain tumor and having to go through all of the therapy and that, and you're just clawing your way back and being paralyzed and all of that, just you think that made you a better
It way made me a better physician, totally, because now I can listen to people in a brand new way.
right.
And then I can be empathetic and I can empower people in a new way that I simply could not
Right.
prior to this moment. So I'm grateful that I had that experience. What I wish it on anybody else? No, but it happened.
Right.
And so I do feel I'm a better doctor because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we have to go through that to to actually, it can be transformative once we come out on the other side of a traumatic experience like that.
That's right. And it made me, it empowered me to have more of a belief. What I needed to do to get back to the place I'm at now is alternative medicine. Conventional medicine took the majority of that tumor out, but alternative or functional medicine got me to where I am now. So it was a blend,
Okay.
a lovely blend.
Yeah, and that was one, oh, I'm sorry. That was one question I was going to ask you was what is the difference between the functional and the traditional?
Conventional medicine is an expert in diagnosis, surgery, medication. We need these things. If we're in a crisis situation, there's nothing like conventional medicine that's going to help us. We need that. But these things can behave like Band-Aids. And so it doesn't get down. It's like going from the top down. Conventional medicine is looking at the top, the symptoms, and then it's saying, and this is how we're going to treat those symptoms. Functional medicine is going underneath. We're trying to look at the root causes of why people get sick. So it's a completely different approach, more holistic, taking into account all aspects of a person that you may actually think is unrelated. So it's really looking from top down or bottom up. And that's really the essential difference. And we know that our health in this country particularly is going down, and our healthcare system and the model for it is broken. And we're not doing well from a health point of view in this culture. So this is trying to take the wisdom of natural medicine from the ages mixed with science of nutrition and medicine and blend them to come and figure out root causes, then give personalized treatments to each individual, because not anybody fits one picture.
It has to be customized.
That's right.
So a couple questions, don't want to get too far out ahead of you, but the two things that just came to mind while you were talking were, number one, do you feel that traditional medicine or
Conventional?
Yeah, conventional, do you feel like there is a difference between prescribing medications? Does traditional, does conventional, no, now I'm confused. Does the
conventional medicine are they more apt to prescribe the medication first and foremost, or I guess
versus
it just
what?
depends.
Versus what?
As opposed to trying
the traditional versus the conventional, I guess the mainstream like we have today, my opinion only, but it seems like if you go in and say, I've got this, is like, yeah, we got some pills that we need to take that's going to fix that. And so
that's right.
Functional medicine
is more looking at the whole person.
Well, it's saying, why do you have that pain?
Right.
That's the difference. Here, let me give you something for the pain without understanding why did that pain occur in the first place.
Right.
That's the essential difference between the two things. Okay. Here, I'll give you something, but I don't really know why it's happening, but this is going to get rid of the symptoms, maybe.
Right. Right.
So if somebody were wanting somebody to look, at a functional medical professional, how would they go about searching for that?
Well, I know you guys are in Texas, so so I know there are functional medicine doctors in Texas. Okay,
And
I,
that should,
I totally know that. But there you can find, somebody like me, you pump in functional medicine,
yeah, okay.
and people will show up. You can find me. I treat virtual all over the country.
Everybody's virtual now.
You have to be.
Yes.
You have, and actually it's been a service, I think. Because people can get what they need and not necessarily be locked into their immediate environment, their immediate community.
Right.
They want something outside.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like I had a falling out with my longtime doctor because it was like, you go there and wait an hour in a waiting room, then you go back to the exam room and wait another 30 or 40 minutes. And, nobody, I know that scheduling tight is how they make money, but on the other hand, it's like, with this virtual medicine, I think that it probably puts the patient a lot more ease being to be staying at home in their own environment, but not going to be in that waiting game. And then also not mixing with the people in the waiting rooms, especially with COVID. But even before that, I mean, you never know what people have sitting next to you.
That's true. Well, there's also sort of a standard of care in medicine, which is you have a window of time, and it's a short window of time. You have to be rapid. You have to, and so they can put a lot more, they put a lot more people in, where is in functional medicine, because we're really looking at a larger complexity of situations, we're going to take a longer time.
Yeah, it didn't turn into a cattle call.
That's right. It's different.
So you mentioned diet earlier. That was the second question I had is, so, from your experience, have you found that diet is a big component of our illnesses, or when things go wrong? Can it be traced back to that?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about something called, what I call, the essential 8.
Okay.
We have what I call foundation of health, and they're
Okay.
essentially 8 different foundations. And
Okay.
if they're like pillars, okay, so if you have any of those pillars is been knocked out of balance, the building on top, which is your organs, are not going to be able to function correctly. So
Okay.
there's 8 of them, and I'll just say, it's sort of like, these are the basics. And if you don't take care of the basics, whether you're worried about COVID, or you have a mental health issue, or you have a chronic health condition or an acute one, if you don't deal with these essential 8, something's going to be out of whack. And let me just tell you what I believe they are. So nutrition, hydration, that's one. That's an essential core piece of health.
Okay.
Sleep. If we don't get the proper sleep, we're not going to function correctly.
We have been dealing with that lately.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. This is a huge, people are having trouble sleeping right now because one of the other things, stress. Stress is in stress management, another pillar, another foundation. Physical activity. How many people have been sitting in front of their computer for 8 or 10 hours a day and not getting up to move?
Right.
We are locked. My hips are locked. I mean, I've never sat so much in my entire life. It's unbelievable. The environment, whether it's the water, the air, we are surrounded by 85,000 potential chemicals every week. 85,000. That's toxicity in the environment. And then another problem is social connection. There's so much distress because we are at this time so isolated. And social connection at any time is one of the essentials. And then fun, pleasure, joy, getting out in nature. If people are unhappy, that is one of the pillars. And then the nervous system. If our nervous system isn't functioning right, any one of these, or if you have more than one or just one, they can knock your system out. So nutrition, key.
Right.
One of the 8. I hope that's a long-winded way of answering your question.
No, that's good. I was taking notes here
That was
because,
good.
that's kind of, I don't think I've given it quite that much thought, but kind of what we always talk about between us is our pillars, I guess, are, the sleep, diet, exercise, and the hydration, because I feel like I've begun to feel like, sleep is kind of what sends me off on the wrong path. And, I've been working a lot the last few days and getting little sleep. And, then all of a sudden I feel like I have to eat more. I'm eating, like a vacuum. I'll be eating anything I can get my hands on to try to get me some energy to, boost me up for a couple minutes. And then Diet Cokes, no water, it seems like
So-
it is
I'm sorry,
downhill from there. No, you're fine. You're fine.
So the truth is, you're tired and you're trying to use
Yeah.
nutrition or the lack thereof to boost
Right.
energy. And the two really have nothing to do with each other, but that is a really common situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, and I forgot exercise was the other, which that is gone, that goes by the wayside too. When you get busy, no exercise, no sleep, eating bad,
Do you
not
have a
drinking
cell
water,
phone?
drinking anything.
You got your little cell
Yes.
phone? I have every hour. I have my cell phone. I'm a dog person. So I have my cell phone bark every hour.
Okay.
And it says,
Oh.
get up off your katush and do something for a few minutes.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so we need some ways. The other
Yeah.
thing is, I say this a lot, especially during this time of lockdown. We are not social distancing from the refrigerator.
No, we've become very close. I should probably
Yes.
have
Yeah, we've
He's
all,
got a tunnel,
all-
a tunnel from his desk to the fridge.
yeah, it's definitely a thing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and it's so important because, I'm just looking at these that, you've talked about, and it seems like that, going through this pandemic, especially, all of these 8 are out of whack in some way for just about everybody.
Yeah, probably.
Because I know, and we've been lucky. I'll speak for me, I think Terry too, but we've been lucky. We have thrived through this. And, I kind of tell some people that I feel like I may have a little survivor's guilt because, being at home, I've been a lot more focused, been able to get a lot more done. But unfortunately, it kind of leads into that staying in the chair longer, not getting up, not getting out and getting the exercise. I don't know, you just
And
kind of,
not leaving your seat there because you're
Yeah.
working all the time, feeling like you need to work when you're in so many things going through your head.
I know. My desk here is just covered. You know how that is. But the good news is the two of you work together. And so
Yes.
you can push each other to go, okay, we need 3 minutes. Let's get up. Let's go outside. Let's do something.
Right.
That's the good news. If
Yeah.
you utilize it.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
she tries to keep me on track. I have to give her that much. She works very hard to make sure to make me stop for dinner and, do all the right things. But, I guess what another point is we are some of the lucky ones because we have each other and we have things to do around here where we can get outside, or I can get outside and get my exercise and work. But there's so many people that can't get out, and the social isolation, I'm sure, especially for like, our parents that
Seniors, big time.
yeah, I just know
Oh,
that
yeah.
when we go over there, we went by to drop something off on a Sunday, and ended up staying for 3 hours just because they were just
So starved for
That's right.
any kind of human interaction whatsoever.
Well, the stats on seniors actually, there's the loneliness is creating, and social isolation is creating more chronic disease manifestation.
Oh, wow.
And
And
so there's
depression, I bet.
statistics on that. It's not a pretty picture at all.
No.
and yeah, it's a vicious cycle because even if they have a medical condition, then they get scared to go to the doctor, go to the hospital, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. So
That's right. So it's just important that we do as much as we can for ourselves and the people we love within the limits that we now have.
right.
To help. So I did want to talk, and tell me if this is okay, because you kind of hit on something in what you said.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. We're probably all super pandemic fatigued. Like, it's hard to even say it. It's like, oh my God. That's all we've thought about for, 8 months, right?
Right.
But
Right.
the thing is that what you said, there are non-infectious pandemics that are going on all the time. They're not infectious, but they're non-infectious. And I wanted to talk about 3 of them, because what you said, I can't remember exactly, but it triggered me wanting to speak of it. There are 3 non-infectious pandemics that I wanted to talk about, and it relates to how this essential 8, if they're off kilter, then how your body functions isn't going to work. So I wanted to talk about the first one, which is, have you ever heard of metabolic syndrome?
Yes, but I don't remember.
Okay, so let me
I
just
can't even
wanted
think what it
to,
is.
you've heard, we all know that these, they talk about comorbidities as being
Yes.
problems. Well, 3 of the comorbidities, hypertension, obesity, and diabetes, all make up, can be a manifestation of something called metabolic syndrome, which is your blood sugar. You have high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist, high cholesterol. These are all things, I see your face, these are all things that make up metabolic.
He's over there rolling his eyes.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I
So
just hit the
here's
triple crown
problem.
on that one there. I think I've got all of them.
Here's the problem. I mean, this is just, we're just hitting on a few things very briefly.
Right.
We could spend hours going into this, but if you have this problem, it lowers, it causes inflammation in your body. And we've all heard of that cytokine storm. This is inflammation. Okay. And then it lowers our immune function. Okay. So if we are hitting up sugars and carbs, that is going to alter our ability to handle blood sugar correctly, then metabolic syndrome can take place. And now your immune system starts coming down. It doesn't work well. Okay, so I wanted people to understand, in terms of understanding root causes, it's not just, gee, all I have to do is put a mask on and social distance. No, how is the body functioning? So that we can try and maximize our immunity by not doing things that are going to be problematic. So I wanted people to talk about that. And one of the things I do with patients is ask them to test their blood sugar throughout the day, many times a day. So we find out, what is your blood sugar doing? And this is something you can do at home to give us this information. Something else, stop me at any time. And the reason
No, you're good. You're good. This is all
You're
good
a
stuff.
dream.
okay, see, 90% of all our illnesses are due to lifestyle, and 90% of illnesses can be fixed with lifestyle. So these things are really relevant. I don't care what we're talking about.
Right.
It could be immunity or anything else. But here's this other thing. And I wanted people to really get this. We're sitting around and we are stressed to the max, most of us. Well, there's these glands called the adrenal glands. Have you guys heard of them? The adrenals, they sit right on top of the kidneys, and they are our first line of defense against stress. Now, if they are struggling, they might be pumping out too many of these hormones that they produce, or maybe not enough. If we're really, really stressed, the body goes, I can't take this anymore. And they stop secreting these hormones. Guess what happens to your immune system?
He goes down.
Yeah. So that's important that we can find out, are our adrenal glands suffering? And so we talked about the essential 8. If our stress management is not working well, the adrenals may suffer. So in functional medicine, we talk about test, don't guess.
Okay.
So we do, for people who, I think this is an important piece, and it may not be for everyone, I would have them do a salivary test to find out what is going on with your adrenals, so that we could find out a personalized approach to whether they need to have that handled in order to boost their immunity.
Okay. Yeah, and I can attest to that. Back in a lot, it hasn't happened lately, but this was back in my younger days when I had a pretty high stress corporate job. Is that expect before I would go on vacation, the week before vacation would be so stressed, trying to make sure everything was handled and in line, and my people knew what to do that week, and that I would literally get off on Friday night, go home, and wake up sick
Me too.
Saturday. Yeah,
Me too.
I'd be sick for 3 days because it's like once the stress had relieved, once I got home and it left my body, it's like my immune system must have been so weak that I got sick, and so my vacations were usually marred by 2 or 3 days of flu-like symptoms, not really bad, but just being fever and all of that.
I am right there with you. And you're going away, Terry, for 2 weeks. We'll see.
I am.
Just
Oh my
get
gosh,
prepared
I've
to
been
go.
running around.
I think people have got a pool going on. Who's going to survive, me or the dogs?
Right.
When she comes back.
I mean, for 2 weeks, I'll be gone 2 weeks.
Well, you're going to be sorely missed, I think. But
Yes, well,
I wanted to talk about one other thing because I really want people to see the connection. And that is, where do you think 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your body?
on your skin or just underneath your
In
skin.
your gut?
Yay, yes, in your gut.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
All right,
Mike.
that's good. Okay, so if you've heard the term microbiome, have you heard that? Your
Yeah.
gut, the flora in your gut, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If that is imbalanced, if there's a problem with, and these are terms you may or may not know, if there's a problem with the permeability of your gut, meaning there's holes and bad guys are getting in and affecting your body, if your gut is not running smoothly and your microbiome is off, and given that 70 to 80% of all our immune system is living down there, your gut's not good, guess what happens? Your immune system is thinking. So these are actual pandemics. These things are happening everywhere with everybody, but nobody's thinking about, that interaction of the infectious pandemic and these non-infectious pandemics. This is a recipe for disaster. And so we want to find out, well, is that related to you? Do you have that issue? So we might, if I think, somebody has that issue, I might want to test your guts in what we call functional testing.
So what is a test that you would run to test somebody's gut?
If I felt it was important for that person, well, I call them poop tests, but they are.
Okay. Oops.
Oh, now Roy's gonna start turning red.
You walked into that, yeah. So they are, fecal tests.
Okay.
And they're done over a couple of days. You get a sample from each day, and it tells us many things. It tells us what you are able to digest, what you're not able to digest. Do you have creatures down there that are parasitic or fungal or bacteria that are not supposed to be there? It gives us a whole huge array. Do you have inflammation in your gut that you couldn't see, you would not be able to see if you went for a colonoscopy? This is the functioning of the gut. So it tells us lots of information, of which then we can design something based on that information.
I guess you could say I stepped into that one.
You did. You did.
You did.
Yeah, but no, those are good things to understand, because it is, now that when you said that, I do realize now that I've heard that before, that's where a lot of our immunity lives, is in our gut health.
Right. So I just like people to step back and go, the first line is the social responsibility of what we are being told what to do. But then we want to go deeper so that we actually have so that I'm fortified, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah, we just kind of bleeped out on us that last word there, I think.
My
Yeah, you said-
internet, can you hear me? Because my internet just said it's
Yeah, you just
unstable.
you blanked out after you said the people being empowered.
Empowered to take responsibility and
Yes.
really do something for their health.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know, I mean, I can give little things for people to do right now. To
Yeah,
say
certainly.
today, what can you do right now?
Okay.
Is that a good
Okay,
idea?
that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so I wanted to say, obviously, you said something about drinking water. You want to drink, if you can, for an average adult drink. I'm sorry, I see your face there again. You don't
Yeah,
like
no.
He doesn't like
Okay.
water
You
either.
do not. Okay, sorry. Okay, you need to try and drink about around 64 ounces a day. And so you'll see, I've got my cup here. You got to figure out how to do that. Now, coffee does not count. Okay.
You hear? Wait,
Yeah.
say that again, please.
Liquids are not the same as water.
Right.
Okay, so unfortunately. So you can also, everybody agrees that fruits and vegetables are really important, right? Everybody is in agreement of that. There's lots of things in alternative medicine that people don't agree with when it comes to diet, but we all agree that having fruits and vegetables and having a large plant-based diet is super important. So what that means, and even the CDC believes this, if we could have like 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, what? Okay, but
Oh my goodness.
so I often talk about drinking your fruits and vegetables, making
Yeah.
a drink that you can
Smoothie.
a smoothie, yes, so that you can put big handfuls of stuff in there and you don't have to stress. If you had 9 to 11 servings, that's about 2 dinner platefuls of vegetables or 2 pounds. But if you
Wow.
drink your vegetables and fruits, then you minimize that, oh my God, are you kidding me? Sort of feeling. So that's
Right.
something you can do, because that will give you lots of important vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, all these things that are going to fortify your system.
Okay.
And then for de-stressing, okay, you could do 2 simple things. Well, first of all, do you meditate? Do you find moments of peace? Do you pray? How do you get into that calmer state of being? That's going to really help your adrenals.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one thing. You can take a couple of vitamins that really help your adrenal glands. B5 and B6 and vitamin C. There are formulas that I have that you can get that are specific for adrenal de-stressing, and they generally always have B5, B6, and C in them.
Okay.
Okay. And then a simple protocol for your guts is, do you guys have, I don't know, where are you in Texas? I forget, you told me.
Fort Worth, just
Fort
out
Worth.
of Dallas. Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming there is Whole Foods there.
Yes. We
and
do
other-
have that.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you know what kimchi is?
Yes. And I don't think I've ever tried it, but I've been very curious for a long
Okay,
time.
kimchi and sauerkraut, organic, raw, both of them. They taste great. You have to you might have to acquire a taste for it, but I love them. They have natural probiotics in them. So you can fortify with the proper bacteria by just eating these foods, or taking a multi-strain probiotic when you go to the health food store. These are ways to say, oh, I'm going to support my guts.
But the raw, you said raw sauerkraut.
I said raw kimchi and sauerkraut.
kimchi.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about that because I think that's where, somebody like me that's tried to, I've kind of played at being healthy for a long time, but there's so much information and probiotics. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but just trying to get your opinion on this. Is that at one point, I was taking a probiotic and I don't know, 25 million deals or whatever, it was pretty good strength.
25 million or billion?
maybe billion,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah. But then I started reading some material. Not, I didn't seek it out. It's just stuff that came across to me that it said that there's this natural occurrence in our stomach, and so when we take a probiotic every day, we were actually counteracting it. And I guess this guy or person was saying that maybe you need to do it once a week or once a month, once every 2 weeks. So what is the thought on that?
Well, I've never personally seen that, but I want to comment on it anyway.
Yeah, sure.
You have to find out whether you need the probiotics or not. Okay, I just want to say, I do feel that taking a multi-strain probiotic, because the research indicates there's so many positive values, there's so much positivity to it.
Okay.
I don't know what he or she was saying about some mechanism that this is going to hurt. I don't honestly, I'd have to hear the whole thing to try and really understand it. But probiotics, like anything, are not all made equal. And they need part of the thing about probiotics is not all probiotics can make it through the gallbladder, the secretions. So you have to know about what you're getting, because
Okay.
if you know, the most expensive supplement is the one that doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, so not everything is made equal. But again, I do think that taking probiotics is in a sort of a preventative way can be valuable.
Okay. Okay. No, thanks for answering that. Because the thing is, I heard it. I don't know their credentials. Don't really, and it's been few years ago. But I think, like you said, the key is probably doing the test to see if it's even necessary or if it's
Right.
what's right for you.
Well, that brings up this whole thing. I read it. I read this. I read that. You go to
Right.
Dr. Google.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Google is going to make you crazy
Yes.
because there's so much conflicting information. So,
Right.
in my opinion, I love to research, and lots of people do.
Yes.
But you need some way to decipher whether this is information that actually is valid or not.
Right.
I think it's helpful to have somebody in your corner who has studied enough, who has enough years under their belt to go yay, nay, or let's think about this maybe, so you just don't go, I'm going to buy I have a patient, she came in with bags and bags of supplements because everything she reads on Dr. Google, she decides that's it. This is it.
Right. Yeah. Well, and this is a long time ago. I had, an unhealthy diet. I knew I did, and I wasn't eating fruits or vegetables. Mostly it was, restaurant food at every meal. So, I am that person. I started, taking one, and then I read something that took more, and it morphed into a whole bag full. And of course, I took them to my doctor and let him look over them. And there's one he threw out and one he added. I think K3 was one that he wanted me to take. But then, one thing we did, when we started this show was we got the chronometer. We started monitoring our micronutrients as well. And when we eat good like we're supposed to, we were getting most of everything, that we needed. I know there's some like the ones that you were talking about, the B5 and 6 and C that you may need a boost, help you with what you were talking about. But I basically, got off of most everything that I was taking and kind of pared it down to a few that I knew we were struggling with.
That's good. Because really what you're wanting to say at this point, for our health, the best defense is a good offense. So you want to strengthen your body as much as you can, given what your particular personal needs are. So you want to put yourself in that position of taking responsibility with the proper information.
Right.
Which I think is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what can people do today if they're feeling overwhelmed trying to figure all this stuff out? All
Okay,
the answers.
well, first of all, um, I have my notes somewhere. So the first, they're all, as I said, they're all
It
over
wasn't a
there.
test.
Yeah. First thing is, I would consider like minimizing your Dr. Google experience.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out, when you're feeling overwhelmed, what's your personal why? Why do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be healthy to play with your kids, your grandkids? Do you want to go to Hawaii and hike in the volcano? What is your goals? You figure that out. Okay, so you can go, is this important to me? What do I want to do? And then you try, we were kind of in a situation where we really want to survive and thrive. So we're calling that thrival. We want to do that.
Right.
So we find a mentor, if that's your choice. Not everybody likes that, who can support and figure out what's going on with you and support it. Also, my website, I have an ebook that I've written called the Essential 8, and it gives you a guide to those essential foundations. And you can go to my website, it's free. You can just click it. That's something you can do right now to get, and I can give you my website. I can, spell it out for you. It's Dr. Carol, Carol, SHWERY.com. So drcarolshwery.com, no period or anything. You can go there and you can get my ebook. Okay, that's certainly one thing you can do. And if you decide that you really want to investigate this further, you want to go, gee, I really want to be healthy. I am offering your listeners today a gift. And that is, if you would like to talk to me and have me hear what's going on with you, what your health concerns are, if you have health concerns, what is driving you to say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes, a complimentary discovery consultation with me, 15 minutes on the phone, where we talk about your health challenges. We talk about the kind of programs that I provide and see if what I have to offer you in terms of information, education, and a plan might be of service to you. I'm happy to do that for your listeners.
Well, thanks. That's
Very
nice.
nice. Yes.
Yeah, I may be the first one.
I was gonna say,
I may be the first one lining up. We may be the.
We're gonna have to duke it out.
But it's nice to have. For me, I'm the kind of person that wants to go to somebody who has years of experience that can go, oh, I hear you, or I see you. Like I've been watching particularly because you sort of wear it on your face.
Yes.
That's the bad thing about us doing video now. Is like I can't make all those faces.
Whose idea was it to do video?
Well, yeah, but for so much of my life, it was it's meat, potatoes, and the only two vegetables that I like are potatoes and corn.
Which, by the way, just FYI, guess what those turn into in your body? Those two things. What do they turn into?
Carbs, sugars.
Totally. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I do. So is that going to affect your blood sugar potentially?
Yes.
Yeah. So
and the other thing is the quickness, and that's one thing that we were on a good path. We were cooking in the kitchen and doing everything right, and then Terry's mother had a spell, and so she had been out, kind of in and out for 2 or 3 weeks. Kind of got off track, but it became the easy path, and I think that's
just grabbing something already, something prepackaged, something just that you can eat and you don't have to prepare, and then just go back to your working, Yeah. I mean, I'm not just saying you.
That's the way it is. It's hurry up and eat so we can sit back down and get back to work. And I guess it's a bigger picture is take the break, eat a good meal, go for a walk and get away, get out of the chair.
Well, it's these basics, they're fundamental. Are they sexy? Meaning, is it like, hey, this is going to be real easy and really, it's going to be, well, these are the day-to-day ins and outs that are not so exciting,
Right.
but they will keep us moving and alive better and longer if we do them. But it can feel like a drudgery. So we have to figure out how to make that better.
And it's funny,
Yes.
that's the other thing I think it's funny you mentioned is that I guess at some point I got wrapped up in that food is fun. And so, it'd be like, when she'll tell me, oh, I got some broccoli, I'd be like, oh, it's like,
The shoulders are out. Did you get me a snack? I sure did. Broccoli.
Yeah. So, we talk about it and I can say the words, it's harder to put into practice that we need to eat to live. We don't need to live to eat. And while we can make it a social event as far as us sitting down, talking about our day, talking about tomorrow, that shouldn't be where we shouldn't be what we look forward to for our fun, I guess.
Well, I'm going to have a slight disagreement with you.
Okay.
Because food can and should be fun. I think that is one of the basic enjoyments in life. It's that our taste buds have been programmed to think only certain things
Right.
taste fun.
Yes.
But we can retrain them. Okay, so I think food is a foundational piece of enjoyment, and and so I think we can alter that so that anybody can change and make it fun, even if it's not fun with, I don't know what you love most, except I do know you love potatoes and corn.
Oh, right.
But it can be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to really give that some work.
See what I'm working with here? This is hard. This is really hard. So I'm gonna keep doing it.
No, and I give her a lot of credit. I mean, she jazzes things up and tries stuff out, which it's more delightful. It's not my thing. I'd rather,
What, the cooking part?
no, the vegetable part.
The vegetable thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait
Well,
a
that's
minute.
why you might be a great candidate for drinking your veggies.
Right.
Yeah, and
You might be a
did that
really
little.
good candidate for that.
Yeah, I did that a little. I bought it was like a green mix, some kind of green powder that had all the vegetables wrapped up in it. And, I gotten pretty good about making some smoothies with that in it. So I may have to revisit that or look at making some with fresh vegetables too. We haven't really tried
fresh is
juicing with
good.
fresh.
Do you guys have, I don't know, do you guys have Costco in Texas?
We
Okay,
do.
so Costco, at least where I am, they have bags of organic dark leafy greens. And the reason I say Costco is they're so much cheaper than if you go to the store. So you can get a big old bag of dark leafy greens organic at Costco for a few bucks. And you can just dig your hand in there and really make a great drink. I did want to say too, what I like to do to make the drink more palatable is I have these things called medical foods. So if somebody, let's say, has if inflammation is one of their big problems, I have medical powder which has vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and also supplements in it for inflammation. You mix that in with your drink, or if somebody's blood sugar, if that's their big issue, I have powders for that. So you can combine getting your nutrients and supplements in with your drink so that it becomes multi-purpose.
Right.
That'd be ideal right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I start my morning. And I just feel like it's hard to get that stuff in. And if you're sitting there going, broccoli, no, please.
Squash is a really big one.
You don't like squash?
I think it's the word squash, maybe. I don't know, but none of it.
I mean, pretty much none.
I'll do spaghetti squash. You like that?
You don't like zucchinis? You don't like zucchini?
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
just don't fix them the
no
right way.
zucchinis, no carrots, no squash, no. I like, ketchup, but I don't like tomatoes raw. I mean, it's really just meat, potatoes, and some corn and bread.
Well,
We got to
hey,
figure with
bread.
bread.
Oops.
Yeah.
oh well.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll call it. You give me some things to work on, so let me get started. What we need to do is we need to make an appointment to, get you back on the show, continue this. 'Cause like you said, we could talk about it for hours and hours. It's very interesting to me
Yeah.
because I want to learn. I want to do better. I really do. I just have to find that. I think I just have to find the path for me. Is just.
Well, that's right. And, one of the things, like when somebody becomes a client, I ask them, we have a very long consultation, so I can try and understand the root causes of what may be going on or not going on with somebody. Plus, I have about 30 pages of questionnaires.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah. Because that way it's,
Well, you would have to.
well, yeah, because I don't care how long I talk, I'm never going to remember all the things I need to ask. Okay, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
So that way we really get down to the meat and potatoes of somebody.
Right.
Oh, see, she has meat and potatoes for you.
Yeah. So that's what I do. And I know if you guys or any of your peeps on the show are interested in doing this, I'm going to give you my phone number. So you can
Okay.
call my office and set up a time. Okay. So if you call them, I want you to say, I was on your show, and so that they know, what the connection is.
Okay.
My number is 831-476-6906.
Okay, and we'll be sure to put that in the show notes as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Before we start wrapping up too much, let me ask you about, is there a tool that you use in your daily life, a tool, habit, ritual, professional, personal, something that you do every day that you just couldn't do without?
Yes. Okay. I've been a meditator for 40 years.
Okay.
But I decided I needed some help in that area. So there's a group that just happens to be located in my county, and the group is called Heart Math. Have you heard of them?
No.
Heart Math? You can go to their website, heartmath.org, I believe it is.
Is it MATH, like math?
Math, Heart Math, yeah.
Heart
Math,
math.
one word,
Okay.
one word.
Okay.
And they have a device called Inner Balance. It's $129, or it might be I have an iPhone. It works with the iPhone for $129. And then I think for Android, it might be, or for Bluetooth, which I did not want, it may be $149. But it's a way for a person to learn how to use their breath and learn how to go into their heart and find a level of gratefulness that causes what we call the heart rate variability. It just is a term that talks about what your heart is doing, and it represents a level of calm. There's a great deal of research on this. They've been at this for about 40 years, but it has brought great calm to me and my patients.
Okay.
And I feel like we're living in times where we need to find methods to have that calmness.
Right.
And
No,
I
I
encourage
agree.
people to go to that website because it's powerful.
Yeah, and it's, speaking of breathing, that's one of the other
yeah.
big things that used to be on my list with the water and the sleep. Is it's like breathe, remember to breathe, because I'm the world's worst about holding my breath.
Mhm.
And I had gone to one of these painting parties once, and the lady was walking around checking our workout. She's like, it's okay if you take a breath every now and then, because I was just like so intent and just. But I've done a little bit of yoga before, and it's just amazing what we can control with our breath if we just be mindful of that. So definitely something worth checking out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if I was an old yogi for many years, and then I decided to become paralyzed instead. So
Oh. You know, I have never tried yoga.
oh
Isn't
yeah,
that terrible?
it's you get addicted to it.
People say that.
Yeah, it's very, one of the beauties of yoga is that you have to stay very present or you're going to fall down. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to just be in your body, and yoga's not easy.
No.
I mean,
It's
I've
not
done certain
easy.
aspects of it, you know, but not ever really sat through a whole class, you know, and
Well,
I
I
need to do that.
encourage you to do it. And I have a friend, one of my oldest friends from high school. She teaches yoga, and she's teaching it online. She lives in New York. And now that I cannot think of her website, but I could certainly get that to you, because she's teaching 5 days a week online, and she's teaching for beginners.
Oh, that's what I need, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
And if
that's what
you're interested,
a
Oh,
lot of
please.
people don't understand that. I have a DVD of a lady. She has like an AM and a PM routine, and she was good about the modifications because it's tough. I mean, if you try to start out doing what these instructors do, I mean, you'll give up, or I'd give up in a minute, because it's number one, it's difficult with the flexibility, but number two, it takes a lot of body strength. I mean, they have to have a lot of body control.
well, there's two aspects to yoga: strength and stretch.
Right.
Some people are quite strength oriented, and other people are quite stretch oriented. I was the latter. I was extremely flexible, but I did not utilize my body correctly because I wasn't strong enough. So I did a lot of work that ended up hurting my joints because I was always using my joints rather than the muscular strength.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you need somebody. One of the beauties of going to a live class is that they watch you, even when you're virtual. They go, okay,
Yeah.
Terry, I want you to do this.
Right. And adjust you
And adjust
accordingly.
you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And men are clearly not as flexible for the most part. So
Yeah.
you guys use your strength, but you don't have that stretch, which makes it equally difficult.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Right. Well, Dr. Carroll, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us, and we definitely will, set up another time. It's been enjoyable talking to you. I feel like we've
Absolutely.
gained so much information.
Yes, I have learned so much.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, again, I know you gave us the phone number, but tell us the website again, how people
Okay.
can reach
Should I
out.
just spell it? I'll just
Yeah,
spell
that's good.
it. DrCarolShwery.com.
Okay, and we will put that in the phone number in the show notes as well,
Mhm.
so they will be there
Cool.
for everybody to look. Again, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
We
Thank
appreciate
you. This was really
you.
fun.
Yes, it
Mhm.
is. Yeah. All right. Well, we want to thank our listeners for being here. Of course, we're on all the major platforms: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify. We've just been added to a few more: the Pandora, Amazon, and another big one. I can't think about which one. Anyway, if we're not on one that you
I'm so
listen to,
tired.
yeah, you're not on. If we're not on one you listen to, let us know. We'll get added to it. But you can find us at www.feedingfatty.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Oh, you stuck.
Listen,
I can't hear
we'd be glad if you are professional. I'm sorry.
You're stuck. I couldn't hear
You
you.
are professional. Okay. If you're a professional, I'd love to hear from you and hear your insight. If you're somebody that's had some success with getting healthy, weight loss, exercise, things like that, we'd love to hear from you as well. Until next time.
You guys. Can't hear you. No, can't hear you.
Zoom just went off.
Oh,
Okay, now I hear you.
okay, there you are.
Okay, yeah, you
Well,
stuck at the end there, so I lost the whatever you said at the very end.
yeah, we'll have to check that out because my my Zoom just shut down and
Okay.
I need to cut off recording.
Uh-oh.
All right, well, thank you guys. I hope that was good for
Okay.
you.
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful.
Yeah, it
Dr.
was.
Carol, thank you so much. We have learned, I can't even tell you. I've
Oh.
learned so much. Now I have to go unscramble my brain so I can
Okay, I
categorize.
hope, was it